Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. For the first time in a long time, and actually only the second time this year, unfortunately, I can't say it's Victory Monday. Our Philadelphia Eagles took their second L. Tough game. Minshew, I thought, played a pretty good game. The defense, unfortunately, the defense kind of came up a little small. I mean, giving up a 40 burger to the Cowboys. There were a lot of turnovers, obviously, but anyway, and we got a basketball team playing great basketball. What are they on? Eight in a row, I believe.
8 in a row, yep.
Eight in a row. 8 in a row, and a big win yesterday. And also, some controversy with them. And a lot of Eagles injury news, and so we got a lot to get into. We also have special guests. We got the bro, Jamie Lynch, 97.5 Zone, hopping on. He'll be on around 6:15. So excited and happy to have him join us. So until then, we got our usual cast, except for Diego. I got my man Sean Kilrain to my left.
What's up, fellas?
You're Paul across the way. What's up, Paul? How you doing, man? Merry Christmas.
You too, man. How you doing? I'm good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and I said no, Diego. Diego's going to be hopping on for a few minutes, probably right around the time that the bro hops on. So, but anyway, hey, let's the Eagles. Hey, let's keep it real. It's football season. But let's start off with some Sixers here because we'll be getting a lot of Eagles when Jamie hops on. We got it. 8 in a row, playing great basketball. Paul, what's your thoughts on the Sixers, man? They're playing great ball. I feel like they're showing they are contenders. What's your thoughts right now on what's going on down at the Sixers?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is when we traded for Harden. This is a Harden we thought all we were going to get, right? The way he's been handing out assists, had a triple-double. He was hitting threes yesterday. If you watch the game from beyond the three-point marker, hitting them. They're really – Embiid, they were down the whole game basically yesterday until the fourth quarter, mid-fourth quarter. And Embiid and Harden just took over, and they look unstoppable, man. Like, that's the Harden we all expected when we trade for him, and they're gelling right now, and we're going to get Maxey back soon. So
it's like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, so I'm really excited the way they're playing right now, especially with Embiid and Harden together right now.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Sean?
I'm just excited just the way they're playing, just like you and Paul said. I like the fact that Melton plays real good. He was in foul trouble, I read yesterday. But all in all, everything's looking good. And plus, like I told you guys earlier, Maxey's coming back.
Yeah.
Possibly Friday versus the Pelicans. So that's a plus, So
yeah, I mean, you brought up the fact that Maxey's coming back, and of course, I mean, hey, that's a major acquisition right there, getting him back.
Absolutely.
But the way that Melton has been playing in there, is there a possibility that maybe Maxey to start comes off the bench and kind of provides that instant offense, because you keep the starting lineup the way it is. You have Harden and Melton, because Melton can really play off of Harden and Embiid, because Melton can kind of just spot up, hit an open three, and then Maxey comes in and he's like instant offense on the bench. So that might be something they may think about.
I totally agree, because you got to work them in, because we don't know how.
Yeah, Melton had made 5 baskets yesterday, all 3-pointers, all 5.
Yeah. I would work them in slow, like Joey's saying, because you don't know the severity of that foot injury, and just let him get his body ready and feet wet, you know what I'm saying, and rock and roll.
Yeah, we got a few comments here. I got my man Pat Bernard, the Gobbler.
What's up, Pat?
How you doing? Merry Christmas to you and your family. You can check him out Sunday mornings at PM in the AM on Edge of Philly. Got my man Chris Rapizzi. I'm assuming he's talking about Gardner Minshew. He said, I don't know, man. He was like a deer in the headlights. Yeah, I mean, a few.
Yeah, he had 2 bad picks, yeah.
Yeah, but why? I blame Quez a little bit more on the one in particular.
Quez was the weak link. He got that ball stripped out of his hands, plain and simple. You look at A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's hands with that ball, that shit ain't going nowhere.
Well,
Quez is weak.
And Devontae Smith. I mean, Devontae Smith, for his skinny, I'll tell
Slim
you,
Reaper, man. You could throw him the kitchen sink,
right?
like I told you.
The Slim Reaper, bro. I mean, for as skinny as that dude is, I mean, he goes up. He's got
He
a
goes
pair.
in-
He goes up there with a pair of nuts, and
He
he's
goes
just like,
in
"This is my ball."
linebackers land, man. How many guys do you know that go to catch that shit? Not many.
Here we go. I got my man Rob Hefner. You can check him out
What's
on
up, Rob?
Out of Box Network. He does a great show about the Vegas sports scene.
Yeah.
Him and Ken Fry. So check him out. What's up, God? What's up, Rob? Merry Christmas. I got my man. We got Broad Street South. Says, "Good evening, guys. In your honest opinion, do you guys think Big Play Slay gave away the game? Jamie Lynch is an awesome guest. I had the pleasure of interviewing him at Tampa Joe's. Slay, I feel like Josiah Scott kind of took the bad angle, didn't he?
He got jumped. The snap of the ball. That's what he said in the interview. He was caught off guard, but all in all, you're supposed to be there at that play at that given moment. But he bet on it, and look what happened.
Yeah,
you can't cry over it.
And like I said, we're going to be getting into a lot of Eagles pretty soon. Maurice Wright, is this your boy?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Maurice? How you doing?
Maurice.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Embiid and Harden, the two players that needed to step up. Yes, they definitely are.
Yeah.
Chris Rapizzi, Sixers coming together. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Rapizzi about Quez Watkins. He needs to fight for that ball. Yeah, he went up like a bitch. He really did.
He
bro.
needs to hit the weights. He's
Yeah.
weak. He has all that speed, but no meat on him.
Maurice Wright again. The New Yorkers, Melton and Harris. It was only right they showed out. Milton added a spark. I'll tell you, I like Shake Milton, man.
Yeah, he does. He's finally getting his due.
No quit in this team. Pat Bernard faced two teams with above 500 records, fall behind by double digit points, and found a way to win.
It was great yesterday when the Sixers went finally in the fourth quarter, went up over 10 points, and the next call timeout, and Embiid was on the middle of the floor, like yelling and like egging on the New York fans. It was fucking great.
Oh, yeah. I love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I love it when he does that. Yeah.
Let's see. You got Chris Rapizzi. So, question: Eagles win over Saints. Does Hurts play versus the Giants? I don't think so. If he does, he plays like a series. What do you guys think? Does Hurts play? Does Hurts play at all if we win? If we beat the Saints?
No.
I mean,
versus the Giants.
I think it'll be a meaningless game, right? So,
see, I think Hurts actually plays this week because I don't know if you guys noticed.
I heard he was questionable for this week coming up too, but not playing.
No, I agree. That's what I saw too. But the line went up. The line started out at like 3.5, 4, and it's up to like 7 now. So that makes you wonder if Jalen Hurts is going to play that game.
I mean, you got to think of it. Put in the factor. Do you want him to play to secure that?
We got to get that,
and then. Yeah.
Well, we got to get that 1 seed, especially with Lane Johnson being out, because if we find a way to squander this 1 seed, which I don't think we're going to, I think we're definitely gonna find a way to win that game. In fact, I feel like Minshew can beat the Saints.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And to keep it real, you know what I mean? Like Minshew.
What's up, Franco?
Minshew, you know Franco?
Yeah, that's my
okay. Hey, what's up, Franco? How are you, bro? We got Mike Lauro here. Trade Embiid now. Mike Lauro.
Give it up, bro.
He's
Can we trade you first? Can we trade you first?
Yeah.
You know what, Mike Laura, you could check him out with Pat Bernard, and also make college football, because it's a huge college football week. So check us out Wednesday night on the Out of Box Network, because we have the playoffs coming up. Yeah. What's Chris Rapizzi? So no, then he out for 3 weeks.
Hurts will be out 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. I do worry about the rust for Hurts. Hang on a second. What's up, Diego? How you doing, bro?
What's going on, everybody?
Merry Christmas, dude.
Merry Christmas, guys. How was your Christmas?
Pretty good, man.
Good. It was pretty awesome. The only drag was the Eagles losing, but I mean, it's
you got to move on, right?
We lost, but it's
we lost. I mean, we definitely should have won that game. Too many turnovers. I have more comments, but I'll wait for Jamie to come on.
Move on.
Lane Johnson hurts more than the loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
the
injury and the tendon tear. Yeah.
I mean, and Maddox hurts a lot.
Matt, he made that great play and he had to get off. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Your buddy Maurice, he comments here. He says, "Well, we've been talking Sixers, but some of the obviously the Eagles are the talks. We were talking about how I feel like Gardner Minshew played pretty well. I kind of blame Quez on at least one of them interceptions. So Maurice Wright goes." Different is Devontae actually makes those catches. He'll definitely fight for the ball. He needs to get Quez to train with him in the offseason. This is the NFL. Quez has an opportunity to get paid. Well, if he wants to get paid, he better start making them catches, bro.
Yeah, he never wins them battles for them balls.
Broad Street South goes, do you guys see if it gets to that point, a rematch between the Vikings and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game? Minnesota are legit contenders. I got to be honest with you. I know Minnesota has a great record. I don't believe in Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota is smoke and mirrors. The team I'm worried about is the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
San Francisco 49ers, I mean, I keep waiting for that kid. I keep waiting for that kid Purdy to remember that he's Mr. Irrelevant, and that dude just keeps making plays.
Bosa is making him, definitely, defensive player of the year at this point.
Bosa is, you're right.
Yeah, he's big game, like 2 sacks, forced fumble last game.
Yeah, that toe injury for
Devontae. He's a beast.
Yeah, Chris Rapizzi saying, he said, did they say tough toe? What he got? I think he means turf toe.
Yeah.
I wish he had tough toe because then he'd be out there playing. I'm just playing with you, Chris.
But all in all, you're right. That was just a freak injury, man, because he was balling the whole entire game. He had Dak in the grass.
Yeah.
And then, but, next man up, right? It's like Driscoll for, like you said, Lane. Who else? There's a ton of guys that are going to be for Vontae Maddox's spot. CJ Gardner's coming back, which I like, but I'd rather talk to Jamie and see what his thoughts are on that when he comes on.
Yeah, so Diego, getting back to the Sixers, because I wanted to start off with the Sixers a little bit here. I mean, what's your impression right now about how they're playing? I mean, 8 in a row. I mean, do you put any credence into this thing about Harden going back to Houston? I don't. Why the hell would he want to go back to Houston unless it's strictly about the Benjamins?
I don't get it either. I don't think he's looking to go back. I just think if he was like, hey, if they don't pay me what I want, then I'll consider going back to Houston, just to put that out there on some bullshit so we pay him.
A little bait and hook. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not worried about that. They're playing great basketball right now, So
yeah, and like we said earlier, like he hasn't won a chip in his career yet. So if he goes to Houston, he ain't winning the chip there.
Right. And we're looking at getting Maxey back for the Pelicans game.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So,
November 18th, yeah, I mean, he's been out since November 18th. Excuse me. But yeah, that's a positive, man. Before you hopped on, Middleton is going to, probably take his starting spot. But all in all, just have him on the bench. Let him get acclimated, when he gets back to his game form.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Sixers are already at 8 in a row, and it's funny because the East is pretty tough, but it looks like it's starting to kind of go into some tiers. So you got Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland are ahead of us. Then you got the Nets. Us and the Nets are kind of right there. I think we're right there pretty much with Cleveland
yes,
too.
We are. And then
so and then you got you got the top 5. Then you got like the Knicks and a few of the other teams below.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it's funny because there's a long season. But if the season ended today, it'd be us and the Sixers Nets in the first round. That would be exciting.
I'll tell you one thing. Cleveland lost. I didn't know Sexton. He's on the IR. He's injured.
No. He traded him for Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in the Donovan Mitchell trade. But what was I going to say? But so guys. So this week the Sixers got the Wizards tomorrow night.
Yep.
Then a big test on Friday at the Pelicans, and then Saturday in a back-to-back at Oklahoma City, and then they got the Pelicans here again a week from tonight. So you figure what's that?
They have the same record as us right now.
Yeah, that's 4 games. So how do you think we do? I say hopefully 3-1, but that's a tough one.
I'm thinking 3-1.
3-1.
The way they're playing, 3-1.
3-1.
Gotcha.
The way they're playing on all cylinders, Like we said last week, 3-1 it is.
All right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. Well, let's keep it real, man. It's football time, and we got our special guest on from 97.5, our man, the bro, Jamie Lynch. How you doing, Jamie?
Hey, what's up, guys? Doing well. How about yourselves?
I don't.
Hanging in there,
Good.
man.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Merry Christmas. How's I guess it would have been a little merrier if the Eagles had won. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I kind of it didn't anger me that much because I kind of took it as what a sign of a good team they actually are. Go down on the road in Dallas with your backup quarterback. You lose the best right tackle in football. You lose a good slot cornerback, and you're basically in it till the end. And outside of shooting yourself in the foot with those fumbles from the running backs and Quez not kind of fighting for one there. Yeah. I mean, you're in a position to win the game. So considering the circumstances, I think it was a pretty good showing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It was one of those games where, any other time, losing to Dallas, I mean, I'd be pissed. You know what I mean? And,
totally.
But I'm more concerned over the Lane Johnson injury and the Maddox injury. Going forward, I feel like that's they're a bigger factor in our future. I mean, I think that the Eagles will find a way to win one of these next two, get the 1 seed, and then you just got to pray that Lane can come back. I just hope that's not like a long-term thing.
Yeah, I mean, Lane's one of the most dominant players in the league, and he's probably like the least talked about dominant player. He set an NFL record this year, most consecutive snaps without allowing a sack. Yes. I mean, the guy's just unbelievable. Yeah, and there's a stat out there. I don't know if it's updated or not, but like the record with and without him, and it's night and day. So you could make the argument he's the most important Eagle outside of like Hurts, probably. And it's probably a good argument.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, and here I got a comment here for you, Jamie. This is our man Broad Street South. He says, "Hey Jamie, it's Angel. Come back down the Tampa Coast.
Yeah, what's up, Angel?
It's warmer than back home. Good seeing you." So he wanted to give you a shout out. And,
I wouldn't mind some Tampa weather right now. Jeez.
Yeah, it is.
I think we all would.
I hear you, man. Especially, I mean, this past weekend was like bone chilling. Like you opened up the door and you were like, unless you had to go out, you were like, man, F this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gave the girls a little extra movie times this weekend. I was like, we're not going anywhere. Indoors all day.
Yeah, but so so the Eagles have the Saints coming up, and what was your impression of Minshew's performance? Because I mean, I think if obviously it's easy to say if we had Hurts that we would have won, but I really can't necessarily put the blame on Gardner Minshew. I mean, I feel
he played pretty well.
Yeah,
I think he played pretty well. There was maybe one throw he missed. The one interception kind of was on him. The other one I think is on Quez. Overall, I mean, you have to compare him to other backups, and that's about as good as you can expect from a backup, more or less. So, it was fine. It wasn't that exciting, wasn't bad. So it was just kind of what you expect.
Hey, Jamie, it's Euro Paul. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
Dallas has given up 74 points in the last 2 weeks, and they're this daunting defense. Do you think they're in like a tailspin right now? I mean, they had no business winning that game against us. We shot ourselves in the foot numerous times, but we gave up no sacks to them.
Yeah,
and, they wound up beating us because of turnovers. But I mean, they gave us 74 points in the last 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah, I'd love to play them in the playoffs. I think the way it's shaping up now is they'd have to go to San Fran most likely. I'd love to see them in the playoffs because Steichen and Sirianni showed you that they got Trayvon Diggs' number. They had him biting on everything out there. The Micah Parsons Lane matchup. Obviously, if Lane isn't playing, becomes probably the pendulum swings in Dallas's way. But overall, no. I mean, you should be able to score on that team with Jalen Hurts in the red zone. You're probably easily putting up 35, if not 40 points. So, you walk away with 27 in a pretty kind of just beat up bad situation. And, No, I don't fear that defense at all. I think Diggs is overrated. Parsons is a beast. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
They did a great job on him this weekend.
Yeah, they contain him. They really do.
Yeah, I'll tell you a team that really the only team that I gotta keep it real that I'm kind of really not afraid of, but I definitely think they're our equal is the 49ers. What do you think of them?
Yeah, they're pretty nasty. I mean, when you have a running attack like that, that always translates to the playoffs, and then that defense on top of it. It's kind of a playoff formula there. I think they're going to beat the Saints on Sunday easily. So I don't think you have to worry about the 1 seed.
Right.
The weather in Lincoln Financial Field could tilt things in the Eagles' favor. So, that's huge to get this win here and lock that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I keep waiting for Brock Purdy to realize that he's Mr. Irrelevant, and he just keeps going out there and playing well. And it's funny because if he was in the AFC, it would be like that cute little story. You'd be like, oh man, I love this kid. But the fact that he's on our competitor, I'm like, damn it! Like, when's this dude going to screw up? You know what I mean?
He became like the darling. I saw him, in the Rookie of the Year odds after 2 games, and I'm like, come on, like, get off his jock. It's been a nice little 2 games, but let's wait and see here.
Yeah, I know, real. And you know what's funny too? How would you like to be a Jets fan? I mean, like you like it's like they took Zach Wilson number 2, and he is like
third string now. They moved down to third string now.
Mike White's going to activate him here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's brutal. That sets a franchise back 4 years when you do something like that. I have a couple buddies that are Jets fans, and they're in a lower place than low. Like, it's pretty bad for them, and I do kind of feel for them because they are a less obnoxious New York fan base, and they're kind of like a more lovable loser than the Giants, who are just obnoxious.
Yeah.
So I do kind of feel for them. It's kind of got like that Browns stink to them, where it's like, it's a passionate fan base, and they just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Can't catch a break. You're right.
Yeah, all they need is a quarterback. The defense is great, and
they have some good pieces.
Offensive players. It's a quarterback's a problem.
Yeah. When you miss on a top 5 pick like that on quarterback, it can absolutely kill you. I mean, the year they got McNabb, Achilles Smith, and who were the other ones? Tim Couch. Yeah, like those picks that obviously Cincinnati and Cleveland went nowhere at the time.
Yeah, it's great.
So I think on this show we all agree Minnesota is not too much of a threat. What do you think about the Minnesota Vikings?
Their point differential kind of tells me they're a little bit of a fraud. They were like, I think +2 in point differential. Kirk Cousins is kind of getting that Matthew Stafford pre-Super Bowl love, where he's like getting praise for overcoming the mistakes he has early in the games. So it's like, oh wow, he's coming back. He's Mr. Fourth quarter all of a sudden. It's like, well, yeah, because he kind of fucked up the first 3 quarters. Like,
right.
You shouldn't get too much credit for putting out the fire. It's good, but no, I don't fear the Vikings. Probably the Cowboys and the Niners are the 2 teams I think are probably the most worrisome. And I'm not even worried about Dallas, really. San Fran would probably be, I think, the toughest test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless Aaron Rodgers just caught lightning in a bottle again and decided to be Aaron Rodgers again.
Yeah.
Then you always got to worry about him.
Right.
I know it's so ironic that like that's such a great point about Aaron Rodgers, because like they were marked for dead, and then like every single thing is happening for them to sneak in. Like every scenario is going right for them. You know what I mean?
And he's like, oh, Christian Watson, you're pretty good. Okay, I'm going to make you awesome. Let's go. And it's just like, oh, great. Here they go again. End of the season. Can't count them out.
Yeah,
I think Watson's out for the year now. I think.
Is he really?
I think so. Yeah, I heard that earlier.
Oh, brutal.
I think he said it. He's like, yeah, I'm done. You think he said?
Oh.
Who knows?
All right. Well, maybe we don't have to worry about them then. No.
Yeah, I mean,
what about Tampa Bay? I heard Gronk might come back out now.
Yeah, I wonder if Howie called him, because he had a tweet like a month ago said I'm kind of bored on Sundays or something, and he just recently said 2 teams called. You have to think with the Goddard injury, Howie probably called to see what was up.
Well, we got C.J. Gardner coming back too as well. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd probably keep him in the slot cornerback, and then I'd move Blankenship back to safety, because Maddox, that's a pretty big role on this team, and Gardner Johnson's done it, a bunch. and Blankenship's okay. So I'd rather see Blankenship than Josiah Scott.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think you slide him up into the dime or the nickel packages where Maddox was, and just kind of hope for the best there. It sucks to go down there and lose that game and get those 2 injuries.
This has been eating at me. Why is the fact that Trey Sermon always deactivated on the practice squad and not playing the game? Is it because he doesn't get the playbook, or they're just comfortable with Boston Scott and Gainwell?
Yeah, I don't know. Boston Scott, obviously now in the return, they love Boston Scott. He must do everything right, So it's just like, he's got the return game versatility. Gainwell they're using as like the 2-minute back. So I guess like conditioning wise, he's probably up for that fast pace kind of stuff. I don't know. But usually they're pretty good about that. If somebody's deserving of being up, they usually give him a look. So maybe he just doesn't have it anymore. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, either that or maybe he can't block. I mean, one thing about this league, if you can't block, you don't see the field. I mean, that's all
he has a size, 6 foot, 220, but like you said, it remains to be seen.
And especially with playing with a guy like Hurts when he's so mobile and keeps plays active, it's like you really got to have a good blocking running back in there because the play's never dead.
Yeah, it's funny it's funny that you brought up Gronk because like I mean I was out, so I was only watching the game like passively, but like I don't know if you caught any of that Tampa game, but I mean Tom Brady looks I want to like is he done? He looks done, dude. Did you see any of that Tampa game?
Yeah,
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, it's a weird year for Wilson, Brady, Rodgers, 3 guys you always just kind of pencil in the top 10 as performers, and all 3 of them just kind of, I don't know, either it's age or whatever, but Brady has looked like crap all year.
Yeah.
Rodgers up until a couple of weeks ago was crap. He basically ruined my fantasy season. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
And then Russell Wilson, what the hell happened to that guy? So it was like it was like a reshifting of the league. Yeah, it was a complete reshifting here. And now all of a sudden Hurts is top 10 and you're going, wow, didn't see that coming. Pretty cool.
Dude, I don't think any of us did, because I know Diego and I last year, like we were sitting there. I'm like, yeah, I would trade 2-3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson right now.
Me too. Yeah.
Thank God we're not the general manager.
I know, right? I loved Russell Wilson. I thought he was like as close to perfect a quarterback as you could have. I don't know what happened to that dude, but I would have shot the franchise in the foot if I was in Howie Roseman's seat this offseason.
Yeah, really.
Yes, so would I.
Yeah, and it's ironic too, because like Howie, I mean we've all seen Howie's mistakes, like Justin Jefferson. I mean, we wanted to crucify him for that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
it's still tough to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
he's a monster.
But the really ironic thing is he screws up with Justin Jefferson, and then he makes possibly the best pick he ever made the very next round that nobody liked, because he comes back, takes Jalen Hurts. Here they have Carson Wentz, and here that might be one of the best picks they ever made.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a top 5 MVP candidate quarterback in the second round like that, yeah, it's going to absolutely change a franchise. And then you look at the other draft, which was Mailata, Sweat, Maddox, and there was a 4th, but there was only 4. Yeah, it was Goddard.
Too. Yeah.
So you look at that draft and you're like, holy bleep, that's 4 cornerstone pieces. You went 100% that year. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and the really funny part about that year too is that was coming off the Super Bowl, so he probably literally did the least amount of preparation. So I don't know, maybe when he's drafting, don't have him do that much planning. Just pick,
Yeah, maybe that just forces him to trust the scouts more. And those guys put in the work. So maybe on years they win Super Bowls, they draft really well. That'd be a good formula.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Let's put it to the test this year. Let's get
seriously.
And
the beauty of the Saints game this weekend is if they lose, you're improving your draft pick too. It's a great situation.
Yeah, no,
right now
that's a
it
win-win.
stands at a ninth.
I think it was 9 going into the weekend. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it's right around.
Yeah, they beat the Browns, right? So.
Yeah.
They freaking.
So do you guys think Jalen Hurts plays this week?
That's a good question. The line's 7 now. I saw on some. which tells me maybe. I don't think they need him, so we'll see. But if I had to guess, I would say yes. And then they rest him the final week, and then he gets the bye. So then he gets another 3 weeks off. Everything I was reading this week said if this was a playoff game this past Saturday, he would have played. So
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, I think you put him out there at home to clinch and then give him some time off.
Yeah, that, like you said, if I had the line kind of tells you like the story. Like as soon as I saw that line went up, I was like, oh, I think he's playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was my first reaction to it.
Yeah, it says here that he's going to push to play in week 17.
Okay. Yeah, I would think so. He's a baller.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Jamie, man. You know, it's really nice to meet you. I'm you know, I appreciate you hopping on. And you know, thanks for the time. And where can everybody check you out currently right now?
So I'm doing a podcast for Bet Parks right now. You know, all your podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, all that good stuff. It's called the Daily Odds Pod. It's like a quick 25-minute daily Monday through Friday podcast. Focuses on gambling and the lines and all that, and just kind of your big, you know, synopsis of the day in a quick 25 minutes. So you can find it anywhere podcasts are, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. I used to listen because I you know, I'd be on my way home from work. I used to listen to you and Devon where you guys would have the where you guys would do the show. Yeah, I love those kind of shows, you know, because
Devon's my man. He's the best.
Yeah, we all like to think we're like experts at times, but like then you go to pick and you're like, okay, I'm really not. You know what I mean?
I just try to not lose. As long as I can kind of break even and win a little money here and there, I'm fine. As long as you're not losing, you're doing all right.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, listen, thanks again. It was nice meeting you. And
likewise. Happy New Year, guys. Merry Christmas. Yeah, all that
Thank
stuff.
you, man.
Happy New Year.
Hey,
All
go
right,
Birds.
see you guys. Go Birds.
See ya.
Take care.
See ya.
That was a good time, man. But yeah, man, that's So if Jalen Hurts plays on Sunday, then let's get that 1 seed and let's move on. You know what I mean? Let's move on to bigger and better things. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah. I want to see Jalen healed up, Kelsey, all these guys with the little nagging injuries. You know, just sit and just be prepared for the next round.
Yeah. So Diego, are you staying on or you got to bounce?
I'm gonna bounce.
All right, I'll see you, man. I'll wrap to you.
Have a good
Peace,
one.
y'all. Have a good night.
See ya. All right, so let me get into some of these comments because I didn't want to try to be you know, I didn't want to be pulling, you know, we were trying to talk to Jamie, so I got some of them here. Let's see here. We got hang on. Maurice Wright here. Maurice Wright says the Eagles have had quite a few backup quarterbacks that got us the NFC Championship game. Well, we know one in particular, number 9, right?
He's starting tonight for the Colts.
Yeah,
I know. It's funny because I really kind of had like very little interest in that game. Well, obviously you do, Paul, because your fantasy league goes.
If I win, I go to the championship game, which whoever's winning the other one, I can probably beat them easily.
and then you spread the wealth with your friends. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Dude,
Paul.
we'll have
man.
We'll have a night out on me.
No, that's awesome.
All right,
Thanks a
cool.
lot.
Well, if that's the case, I'll root for you then. Go Paul. No,
Yeah, good luck though.
Nah, good luck. Chris Rapizzi says, "Is this year for Tom Brady? He looks like he blows." Like
I think he might retire, man. He said he wants to play another year, but the way I'm seeing it, if I'm him, go out right off in the sunset, man. You know, you're the GOAT. Go out on a somewhat of a good note. I mean,
well, except he. You know what? Brady right now reminds me of like Peyton Manning's last year. The only difference was the Denver had that great defense and they actually won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But like if you remember, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning was done. Like he barely could even throw the ball.
Yeah,
now
his ball velocity, his distance. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, Brady's playing better than that. But I'm just saying though, he looks like.
You want to hear crazy as that? He rushed the ball 26 times this year so far, -5 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, well, he was never Mr. Speed, right?
Nah.
Nah.
He's like the opposite of Jalen Hurts, you know, when it comes to
Yeah,
running.
but he used to do the quarterback sneaks and gets a touchdown. He hasn't been doing that either.
What worked for Peyton Manning? I was watching YouTube video, naked bootlegs, man.
Oh yeah,
dude, he was the king of them. That's what they should do. They should have did with Minshew, but we're not the coach.
Yeah, got a comment here. Jason Sklar's Eagles 49ers championship game. I could see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Philly feet, guys, regardless of how the offense moves with Jalen there, we have major issues on special teams, mainly the blocking aspect. Doesn't appear that we can get our returner across the 50.
Absolutely. Using Kyron Johnson, who was a key blocker, tackler, that kind of hurts. But like they say, next man up. But
yeah, field position is everything in this league. The only thing I will say though is that the last couple of weeks they've gotten a little. I mean, Boston Scott had a couple more.
Yeah, Boston Scott. Yeah, but the kick returner is lack, man.
Adam Glenn, hey Adam, how you
What's up,
doing?
Adam?
Happy holidays. He says, would you play Hurts on Sunday?
If he's raring to go, I would.
If he wants to play, hell yeah! It locks up that first seed. Let him sit the Giants game. I don't
want him missing 3 games and then going into playoffs, man.
I want healthy bodies.
Yeah,
you know.
But you do worry about Russ though, because if he doesn't
play 3 games in a row, it's going to go into the playoffs. Then you got the bye week.
It would be 5 weeks that he would go without playing.
Yeah, it's too much.
Getting back to Gainwell, we were talking on Gainwell earlier. Maurice Wright says Gainwell's important. They were able to move the football with him catching passes. That's what he's here for. That kid's also a tough look for his size. If you notice, he runs inside pretty well.
He likes that. Yeah, he did that at Memphis.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that he'd be able to run inside with as little as he is, but he goes right up there. He has no fear, that kid.
He's like another, like I talked about, another Antonio Gibson. You know what I mean? But not on that level.
Yeah, this is Sanders' prove it year. Maurice Wright, this is Sanders' prove it year. I'm surprised they haven't used more of Sermon. Pound it. Take the pressure off your quarterback. I'm telling you, I think it's a blocking thing. It's got to be. And also they like Boston. Well, think about it. Boston Scott plays. Where are you going to play Sermon? Sanders has been killing it. Boston Scott's your kick returner.
I get that.
And Gainwell's your passing guy. So where's Sermon going to play?
When you like a big back in there, I mean, degree or disagree.
Unless they let him walk in the offseason and then bring in Sermon to try, maybe.
Yeah.
Philly feet. He says Hurts plays this Sunday. Here's our man Paul Spencer. What's up, Paul? How you doing?
What's up, Paul?
You can check him out on the College Football Frenzy with us on Wednesday night for a little playoff preview. And also he does the Cowboys show and a UFC show on the Out of Box Network. He says, in many ways, I'm glad the injury bug hit Dallas early rather than late. Playoff teams need to be healthy to move forward. Yeah, that's definite.
That's key, man.
A lot
that right on the head.
A lot of times it's not necessarily the best team. Well, it is the best team, but it's the healthiest team a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'll tell you, I say that, but then again, the 2017 Eagles, look at all the injuries we had. You stop and think about it.
You had Ajayi,
Jason Peters,
quarterback,
Carson Wentz, LeGarrette Blount, Ajayi. They were the running backs. Corey Clement.
No, I'm talking about the guys that were hurt.
Oh yeah,
like Jason Peters, Jordan Hicks. I mean, the Eagles had a lot of guys out.
But look at what these guys did. They stepped up and they played and balled.
Next man up, baby. You know what I'm saying? Mike Lauro, he says Eagles wrap it up Sunday. I agree with you, Mike. I totally agree with you. Broad Street South. I'm wondering. Supposedly he wants to go to Miami because of the mansion he is building. Except he could go part owner. Oh, he must be talking about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I did hear that. Except he could go as part owner of the Dolphins. Have not stated that they want him as a quarterback. Well, that would be interesting because what do they do with Tua? You know what I mean? Paul Spencer. He says moving on in the out of box fantasy chip finals. Paul need that advice Wednesday. Yeah, make sure you check out. Make sure you check out my man Paul for his fantasy show on Wednesday nights. And
Paul.
Paul Spencer took me out by 5 points. We had two. I lost the poll in our playoffs.
Oh man.
We had 2 games this year. The first game I beat him by like 5/10 of a point. I don't even know how that shit even happens. But I beat him by like 5/10 of a point. This time he got revenge on me.
It's definitely that Eagles Dallas going on. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hats off to him.
Chris Rapizzi said Eagles did no RPOs versus Dallas. Running back got ball every time, no quarterback runs. Well, that's because I am kind of surprised. Actually, to Chris's point, I am a little surprised that Minshew didn't keep at least 1 or 2 times just to keep him honest. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, they ran him for that touchdown, right? But yeah, I mean, he's not really a strong runner, so yeah, I can see that.
Philly Feed, he goes, okay, gentlemen, does Dean deserve more snaps on defense? I
would like to see that, but
I could kind of see it a little bit. I thought Kaiser White, he's had a good year. I thought he had a kind of a bad game on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't think Kaiser White had his best performance out there. And I'll tell you what, I don't blame the 3rd and 30 play. First off, that 3rd and 30 play, that's where you lost it. You give up a 3rd and 30, you're taking an L. I don't give a shit what happens. Just from that play, I was like, we're gonna lose. We're taking an L.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the first down, you get a fresh set of downs. He went Kaiser White 3 for 3 and half a sack.
Yeah.
So
Brian Preacher, hey Brian, thanks for checking us out, brother. Says this D line will dominate any playoff game. Injuries happen. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the defense didn't play that well, but we did sack Dak 6 times.
Right.
So it's not like they didn't get pressure.
Well, to bring up that point, like I said to you earlier, the Eagles have 6+ sacks in 4 straight games. They're tied with the 1976 49ers in the Super Bowl era. Hassan Reddick's balling, dude. 14 sacks, forced fumbles, you name it, he's doing it. What they came to sign him for and do, man. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. Mike Lauro, you know what? Mike has a great point here.
Yeah.
Minshew, I think Minshew played about as good as a backup quarterback's going to play. He played a good game, and we put up 27 points on offense. But to Mike's point, he said we didn't go deep at all. And you know what? That was really missing because Jalen's not afraid to go deep.
Oh,
he goes deep
short,
a lot.
Deep, middle, he'll do it all. But it almost like I was talking to Maurice when we were watching the game. It was almost like a deer in headlights, with Minshew. Because he was always focused on Parson.
Here's our man Vincent Joseph. You could check him out. Check him out on Wednesday nights with my man Paul for the Fantasy Football Show on the Out of Box Network. He says, "Don't steal my co-host. Birds need to wrap the 1 seed and rest up."
Okay.
What's up, Vinny? How you doing, brother?
What's up, boy?
Let me see what we got here. So towards the end of the game, here we go. Here, Chris Rapizzi right here. He says, so towards the end of the game to pass in the end zone, you think that was a flag? Nah, you're not getting that call. I think he's talking about the last play of the game when Minshew kind of threw it up for grabs. Is that what you're talking about, Chris? The last play of the game? Pat Bernard, he says Mike goes deep every night. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on.
TMI.
That's something for the P&AM show.
Here's an interesting question. Vinny Joseph, Vinny asked, should the Phillies put a package together for Devers from Boston? What do you? I know we're kind of talking Eagles, but that was a rumor. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, definitely will be upgraded for offensively. I'm not sure how Devers is defensively, but offensively, definitely we had like 27 home runs, bat almost 300 last year. I would do it if we can get him. But like I said, Bohm is going to be the expense.
Bohm is included in the package with. I'm trying to.
I think that would. See, the only thing about that is that would take like a Bohm, like the kid Abel, the young pitcher,
that's who they have.
And then a couple other young players too. And then Devers going to get a huge contract.
If my buddy Peach is still on, he loves and knows baseball. Tell me your thoughts on it. Here's
an interesting question here. Broad Street South. He says, since Baker Mayfield had a blowout game yesterday, do you guys believe he will get a starting job next season? Maybe, possibly Detroit. You know what's
Well, I mean, you got Detroit. You also got the Jets are looking for a quarterback now, possibly, and also Houston, right? Houston's quarterback's unsettled too. So yeah, I can see him get a start somewhere.
Well, here's one for you. Maybe he stays where he is, dude. Did you did you see how bad Stafford's injury is? No joke, bro.
Like they said the elbow is pretty serious.
Yeah, I mean he may even stay where he is. You know what I'm saying? Because Stafford's injury is like he may not even be right for next year.
No, that's what they're saying. I think he stays in LA due to the severity of what's the name's injury, which they're saying, but they're not saying at all.
Chris Rapizzi says not last play, few plays before that. I got to be honest, Chris, nothing sticks out. Nothing sticks out to me there. Nothing sticks out to me there. Let me see right here. Maurice Wright says pitching makes a baseball team stronger, actually better. So he's probably not a fan of giving up Abel because you want to develop your young players.
Well, if we get Devers, Red Sox get Baum, Mick Abel, Eric Miller, Simon Muzzatti.
Okay.
So this is my buddy Brock.
Gotcha. Thanks for checking us out, Brian. Oh, sorry.
The comment.
He's saying he would not give up the farm for Devers.
I agree.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, yeah, that's a tough one. And you know what? The Phillies. Speaking of the Phillies actually had another piece of interesting news. What do you not to get off? Well, we're going all over the place. Who cares? What did you see? We signed Kimbrel.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that? 1 year, $10 million.
We were on Kimbrel we were tied for Kimbrel forever, man.
Yeah, because the Browns.
I like it. I mean, as long as he can pitch well, yeah, I like it, man. You need to shore up that and end of the game and the last 3 innings.
I mean? But rumor has it, but I mean, he's dropped in arm velocity. But it's another arm, so let's see. Let's ride with it.
Oh, Mike Lauros, he's saying with Chris Rapizzi talking about the pass, he said, I think Chris is talking about Devontae got pushed out of the end zone. Yeah, you're not getting that call. You're not getting that call in the in late in the game. You're just not. You know what I mean? Especially on the road. In fact, look at that. We talked about it last week, I think. Look at that Giants Washington game. That dude was like raped in the end zone. They didn't call.
He hugged him and they didn't call nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, these refs are like 3 blind mice, man, getting paid to do a job and they can't even do it right. I mean, that goes not only for that game, but every other game that we've been seeing. Fumbles, late hits. They call more late hits on quarterbacks. Like yesterday, they called a late hit on, I think it was the Miami game.
Okay.
Wasn't even a late hit, man, but they still threw the penalty.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, getting back to the Eagles here. So, so what do you think? Do you think Hurts is going to play? Paul, did you say you think Hurts is going to play, or you think it's going to be?
Well, it's a toss-up. They're saying that if Hurts is good enough to go, he's going to push to play. But they say that the Eagles are happy that they think Gardner Minshew could beat the Saints the way he performed against the Dallas Cowboys. So they're good either way, but they're saying that Hurts could push to play.
Okay, so then I got a question up there. It says, do you think Minshew beats the Saints?
Yes.
All right. So we're feeling
50-50. Yeah.
We're feeling pretty confident that we're going to wrap it up this week, get this number 1 seed. So really, I mean,
but I just don't like we said earlier plenty of times. Like I don't want him resting 5 weeks.
Right.
Sure. You want to be in football mode. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, if he doesn't play this week, at least maybe a half against the Giants, and hopefully that's be enough. But, 5 weeks without starting and playing, it's good. He's, like I said, the rust factor. So, I don't like that going into the playoffs.
Now, who do
you want him to be rolling?
Now, with the Lane Johnson injury, who do you think steps up and fills in for Lane? They've got so many options.
Right. That's interesting. I actually meant to ask Jamie that because so far this year when Johnson misses a little bit of time, they just slide Jack Driscoll over to right tackle. And that could be what they do. But, they could put Mailata on at right tackle, and then they could move Dillard to left tackle. So I don't know. What do you think they'll do, Paul? Do you think that it'll be just Driscoll playing right tackle, or do you think they could possibly move Mailata to right and then Dillard to left? But the only problem with that is that's changing two different positions, though.
I think
I don't know. I see Driscoll just sliding in there.
Yeah, he held his own,
Yeah.
even when it happened last time. So
yeah, dude, we gave up 0 sacks to Dallas this past week too.
Even when he filled in for
Yeah.
So Driscoll all day.
Well, I was gonna say Maurice Wright with the comment here. He says Driscoll has done it. He'll be all right. And I'll tell you one thing about Driscoll. When he had to play guard for Sayamalo last year, I know at one point Pro Football Focus had him rated as like a top 10 guard, I believe, in the league last year before he himself got hurt.
Yes, he did. Yeah, we talked about that. I remember. Yeah.
And in fact, with all the free agents, I mean, you look at. I know this is a question for the off season, but with all the the Eagles have a ton of free agents, and Sayamalo is one of them. Now, if you're looking to pay, you have to make a choice. I think CJ Gardner-Johnson is definitely going to get paid. I think he stays.
He's young. He's staying here.
I think TJ Edwards probably stays, and maybe Hargraves, and then some of these other guys you're going to lose, right? Well, I don't see the Eagles, as good as our O-line is, I don't see the Eagles keeping Sayamalo. I think they know that they have a guy like Driscoll that they can plug in there at guard, and then we'll have a lot. Say we trade down in the draft, we may take another young guard to kind of develop. Plus, we got that kid Jack. What's it, Josh Sills?
Yeah, but don't forget
they're developing too.
Josh Sills.
Cam Jurgens. If Kelsey retires, and especially if we win the Super Bowl, Kelsey may want to go out on top, so Jurgens would be the center.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, you're right, Josh Sills.
They seem to like that kid.
Yeah.
And the one I'll tell you, the one thing about the Eagles though, with their O-line, I mean, you could always have trust in Stoutland University. You know what I'm saying?
One of the best coaches out there, man. He just knows how to coach them, bring out the best in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah, Maurice Wright, he says Big V did in the Super Bowl when Peters went down. And then we got depth guys. They're pretty well stocked. Everybody is hurt. Believe it. Warriors come out to play. No, I hear you, man. Yeah. But I mean, that's the concern with the Eagles, though. We just gotta hope that we can. These next two games, as long as we get that 1 seed, it's almost like they're glorified preseason games. Well, I mean, not quite, because they have to win one of them. But once we get the win, then it's all about the playoffs. That's what it's all about. Hang on, I got another comment here. Ken Fry, hey, what's up, Ken? How you doing? He's on the Vegas sports scene. Sully squad in the house. What's up? Merry Christmas. All that stuff. Hope you had a good one. Here's your boy right here. Brian Peacher, he says, and Dallas is known for scoring after any turnover. Oh, yeah, that killed us, man.
Yep.
We got the Gobbler. Pat Bernard, do you think the Saints will be throwing everything at us, knowing that they feel they can make a playoff push in the NFC South? Yes, I do, but I don't. And I think
we're up for the challenge.
The one thing we do have to be concerned about, though, I mean, the Saints' defense isn't bad. The Saints actually have an elite secondary.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul, do you think that we should be concerned about, like, overly concerned about the Saints, because they can play some defense now?
Yeah, but they're gonna have trouble scoring points. So I mean, yeah, their linebackers are good too, and defensive ends. They have decent defense, but I'm not worried about them.
Yeah. So in other words, Pat,
they have Andy Dalton throwing the ball too. So
Yeah. In other words, Pat, we don't give a shit if the Saints are out there put their best foot forward, because they're coming into Philadelphia to play the number 1 seed Philadelphia Eagles. they about to get an education. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody likes us, and we don't care.
Ken Fry, he says, I think the Birds will bounce back. Minshew isn't a terrible
No,
quarterback.
absolutely.
Hey, Minshew, all I know is that if I'm a Jets fan, Gardner Minshew is a hell of a lot better than what they've been looking at. I mean, with Zach Wilson, that is. I mean,
Mike White is supposed to start this week now, and actually rest of the season.
Wow, dude, like that's like total shambles.
Well, Zach Wilson is he's not even going to be active. It's going to be Mike White, and then Flacco's the backup. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the kid is trash.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but you know what?
I was reading in a while a little bit too because I own him in my dynasty. I finally traded him away, but they're saying even all his mechanics are messed up too. Like, doesn't he have right mechanics anymore? They're just trying to get him, back to his like normal. But he's like he's all screwed up.
That sounds like a mental block, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do you go from being kind of legit to shit in the bed? I mean, that's like total mechanics. Hopefully he gets it right, but whatever.
My man's too busy. He's too interested in hunting cougars. You know what I'm saying? He can't keep his head in the playbook. He's too busy. He's too busy trying to bang Stacy's mom. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I mean, she does have it going on. You know what I mean? But like, come on, dude. And you know what's funny? I actually heard an interesting rumor because I believe Gardner Minshew I believe there's a good possibility Gardner Minshew was going to be leaving us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want to go somewhere where
he wants to start.
Right.
Yeah.
And he at least have a chance to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Eagles loved Zach Wilson coming in when he was coming out in the draft. The Eagles supposedly loved Zach Wilson. And I read that if the Jets actually cut bait with him, that the Eagles, there's a possibility the Eagles may bring him in as a backup to Hurts and then try to develop him, because he does have a lot of physical skills, and they may try to develop him as a backup and turn him into like a valuable asset.
Okay.
Which. Hey, I'll be honest with you. If you're telling me I could get the kid for free, the Eagles obviously have good coaching. You know what I mean? I mean, they coach Jalen Hurts.
It makes sense because if Gardner Minshew does leave, our backup's Ian Book.
True.
So you need to do something. Yeah, I mean that makes sense if you get him back on track. Yeah.
Here I got a comment here, Mr. Wing. He says. Issue was he was never legit. He got propped up because he made Mahomes like plays on his pro day. Yeah, he's talking about Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
100% agree.
That freaking pro day shit is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
Look at Mike Marul.
Yeah, you know what, Paul? I comment. I think I told you this last week. I said Zach Wilson is the baby if Jamarcus Russell and Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf had a baby, it'd be Zach Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'm sorry. No, you go. Go ahead.
No, it's just crazy. Like these franchises, like revolving door quarterback. Like they can never get it right, dude. Like Jets, Browns. They traded for Watson, but Browns before Jets. True. Carolina now too is in the freaking mess there too with the quarterback situation. Like it's just crazy. They hit on these like first overall, second overall picks, and it just don't work out. It's crazy.
You're not paying. Yeah.
One more comment here. Mr. Wing says the battle-tested quarterbacks were Fields, Lawrence, and Mac Jones. No way Wilson should have gone too. I agree. I never.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I hyped him up.
I remember when the draft came out and. Wilson, everybody fell in love with Wilson because of his arm, because how good he looked in shorts. People were like, "Oh,
what he did at BYU."
Yeah, people were like, "Oh, he hunts MILFs," and everybody's like, "Oh, dude's cool." But that has nothing to do with if the dude can play on the freaking field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, if I'm a Jets fan, like it's funny because in the offseason, like Jets fans were like, "Oh man, Zach Wilson's the man." He likes, he bangs cougars, all this stuff. Well, at the end of the day, who gives a shit? If you can't make plays on the field, nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? But yeah, and it's funny because he brought up Trevor Lawrence, and I'll tell you, shout out to our boy Dougie, our old coach Dougie P, because I'm at the point where I'll actually be surprised if they don't win the division. I think they're going to beat Tennessee.
Probably.
Tennessee,
Absolutely.
even if Tannehill comes back and plays, I don't think Tennessee is like leaking oil like crazy.
Well, they had an interview
Yeah,
with
definitely.
Sean Jenkins, the guy that took the pick six to the house and spoiled it for Dallas. And they asked him, what's so different about this team? First words out of his mouth, coaching.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer didn't give two shits about the team, about where it was going, how to build the culture, build the kids up. Now look at Dougie P. They're wheeling and dealing. I mean, he's making these guys want to play, man. And I'm happy for him.
Well, Urban Meyer was such a fraud. Like he's out there telling his players, like, yo, don't get in trouble, watch what you're doing in bars and stuff. And then meanwhile, my man's out there like banging, like trying to bang co-eds and shit. I mean, I ain't hating on him. I mean, I mean, hey, if he's single or whatever, I can't blame the guy for trying to get some ass. But by the same token, how you going to be out there telling your players not to get in trouble, and then your dumb ass gets caught on video grabbing a chick's ass? And then, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you want to do it? Yeah, here we go. Hang on a second. I got a comment here. Yeah, Mr. Wing, he was too busy getting lappies in his bar. Hell yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, but nah, man, you know what I mean? Hey, Dougie P is a good coach, and Trevor Lawrence is really starting to look like that guy.
He's mature.
Trevor Lawrence has been really impressive, especially I want to say like the last 5-6 weeks in particular. I think the only game he kind of struggled was the Lions game.
Yes.
But the rest of these games, I mean, he's been playing some really good football. And, I for one, I'll always root for Dougie P. So I'd like to see him get in the playoffs. I think it'd be really cool.
Always like to see a spoiler, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? But, yeah, man. So, Paul, I guess we're going to get ready to wrap up here. Paul, so let me get your Monday night game. We got BDN. Nick Foles is actually playing. So that's a reason to watch. And your fantasy league for yourself. Any thoughts on the game as far as just the actual game? Like, who do you like? Chargers, Colts?
I definitely like the Chargers. We call him. He threw for 3 straight 300-yard games. So I like Saints. I mean, not Saints. The Colts are not that great on defense. So I would say Chargers definitely maybe 34-17.
Okay. Yeah, I think the line's 4.5. So that's kind of what I was asking. If anybody's out there looking to, if Christmas wasn't so merry for them because they took a lot of L's betting these games this weekend, maybe they're looking to get right.
Chargers. I got the Chargers. Herbert's going to be wheeling and dealing. Hopefully Eckler, does his thing.
Yeah, I need Eckler to go off tonight because my other league I'm undefeated, and a couple players shit the bed for me, and I'm behind. So I need Eckler to have a huge game for me.
I think you'll get that from. I see 38-20 because the Colts are such in shambles, man. A lot of guys on defense quit on them and aren't playing.
Here's an interesting comment right here because we're with the Eagles having the Saints pick and having 2 first-round picks. Philly Feet says Joe Tittman from Wisconsin. Dude is a beast. Draft him. Allow him to learn under Lean's tutelage. And there we go. That is something when we get in the draft, when we get closer to the draft, that is something that they are going to have to consider addressing is a young tackle to go behind.
Oh, absolutely.
Lane Johnson.
I think, and then the best is just like he said, you got Stoutland.
Yeah.
Stoutland will groom these guys to be beast.
Stoutland University. But anyway, hey, we're gonna get ready to wrap up in a minute. Before we do, let me give a shout out to our sponsors here. We got Sherry's Tickets, www.sherrystickets.com. For anybody out there that's wants to go to a sporting event, concert, or theater, these guys are a local family-owned business since 1946. So show a local business some love here. You save 10% off with the promo code EOP10. So it's always good to show a local business some love if you got somewhere to go. Anybody out there with some legal problems, check out our man David R. Cherry Esquire. Workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law. You could call him at 610-565-0300 or www.cherryinjurylaw.com. There's a great bar down Delaware County. It's called Dolan's. They got a lot of events in December. I know a lot of the guys from EOP like to go down there and check out games, or our buddy Mike Lauro. I know he's gone down there many times, and a few of the other guys. So if anybody's in that area, go check them out. They have it's a cool spot. Philly Sports Trips. I think mostly everybody's heard of them. I mean, Philly fans travel everywhere, but they do a great job. I know our own Pat Bernard. Up here is the Eagles one, which obviously that passed. But they also do Sixers trips, Phillies trips. There's a Sixers trip to Brooklyn. I believe it's February 11th. I think Pat Bernard's going to that one.
250.
And what was he say? It was like 250 or something.
Drink,
they do a great job. So check them out. Edge of Philly Sports and the Painted Lines does a pregame, halftime show, and a postgame show. Check it out on www.eopsports.com or the Painted Lines. Great, interesting stuff. Here's the lineup for Edge of Philly Sports. There's something on here for everybody. So make sure you check out all the shows. And but anyway, that's about it. And so everybody out there, next time we'll be back. We'll be in 2023, and a week from tonight, and hopefully the Eagles have the #1 seed wrapped up. And go Birds, go Sixers. Everybody have a happy New Year, and have a good time. And remember, if you do get really banged up and you get in some legal trouble, remember my man David R. Cherry. Call my man up. Hopefully none of y'all got to call him. But if you do on New Year's Eve, don't get in trouble. But if you do, call David R. Cherry, all right? All right, see y'all. Go Birds, go Sixers.